Well, welcome everybody. Tonight's webinar is about the student experience. So as with most of our webinars, we're going to be making this interactive. So I'm going to have all of you help me out by going through kind of the student experience, and I'm going to show what it's like on my end. As with most of our webinars. Now, all right, so I just turned off that. I'm going to show you my screen, just to start off so you can kind of get a view of what this is going to be like tonight. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you what I see on mine. So I've got my in previous ones, other people have answered questions. So I'm going to start asking some questions over here as we're going along. But the way we're going to do this is I'm going to show off two lessons, and we're going to, I'm going to have you guys kind of like go through this experience as a student. So the first thing as a teacher, though, is you need to create a class. So as the teacher, I'm going to go to my classes, and I'm going to create a new class for this one. So I'm just going to click on Create Class. And for this, let's see, what's the 22nd, right? Yeah, so 5/22/18. All right. So if you're using Google Classroom, you can import your roster from there, but you don't have to at all. So I'm just going to create my class. As a teacher, you can join classes as well, but I want us to kind of go through the whole student experience of what that's like for the first one. So I'm going to find my class, and now, right, so let's be down here. I got a lot of classes on here. So class, what I would like you to do is I'm now going to present this up on my projector. I can copy and paste it into our LMS. We're going to be using this code of 2TRV. So I'm going to assign a couple of lessons to this class tonight. And I'm going to show you guys what the teacher end looks like on my screen, and you're also going to be experiencing the student side from your end. So I'm going to just simply copy this code. Actually, I'll copy all these instructions here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to head back over to our chat and paste it in here. So you're going to go to InsertLearning.com and then enter in this code of X2. Or no, oh geez, no, that's not the X. It's just 2TR. There we go. Yeah, the X was the little closing thing. All right. So the code is 2TRV. You're going to enter that code in. So I'm going to just simply walk you through kind of like what that's like, right? So let's say if I'm a student, what I'm going to go to is going to go to InsertLearning.com. So students go here, then they click on Add to Chrome. And it's going to prompt them now to add in the Chrome extension. Now, this is one thing of where you can have your school, your Google admin, automatically enroll or add the InsertLearning Chrome extension to all of their browsers, or you can have students do this right now too. Just make sure that you have it unblocked for the students first of all. So sometimes you want to demo that, try that with the student, or check with your tech admin or your Google administrator to make sure that that's unblocked. So the students can install the extension, or you can have your Google admin install it for you. So we're going to go to sign up with Google. So it's just Google sign in for all of this. So we're going to go through. We're going to sign with Google. Your students have that. Life is nice and simple. No separate accounts or anything like that, or new usernames, etc. So at this point, now what we're going to do is they're going to be entering in this code. Now they're going to be selecting themselves as a student. So I want you to do the same thing. And I'll show you how to switch later to a teacher. But go ahead and click on that you are a student. And then the last thing is going to ask you for that code. So that's one I entered in before. That was the, I'm going to head back to my own chat here. And that was the 2TRV. So enter that in and then enroll. Now I can't enroll in my own class, unfortunately. All right. And then I end up on my dashboard. So as a student, you would end up here, and now you're going to see the lessons that have been assigned to you. Now I'm going to switch back to being a teacher for this one, so I can kind of show you guys what this is going to be like. So I'm going to click on my profile, and I'm going to select that I'm a teacher now at this point. Oh my, did my subscription just expire? That's okay, we'll go through that. All right, so now as a teacher, I've got my class, and my students are enrolling in my class. And I can see my students that are going to be enrolling in here. So I can head over to here, and I can see 5/22/18 my class. And hey, I already have students that are enrolled in this class. I can click on this, see my lessons. I can click on here and then see my students' names and unenroll them if I need to. And then I can also click on here and then invite co-teachers if I need to as well. All right, so well done, all my students. You guys have now enrolled in my class. So the lesson that we're going to be doing tonight is going to be this NPR article. Right, so E. coli, a lot of letters that had to get thrown away. A lot of interesting lessons that we can kind of like get out of this article. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load in the InsertLearning extension. Typically what I would do is I'd go through and I've kind of create my full lesson for this right away. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to add instructions, answer all questions, and highlight main idea. All right. I'm going to go through, I've got that, and then I'm going to add in a pre-reading discussion. What have you heard about this? A great text-dependent question, right? We can use this for pretty much any current event. Now, to help you do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now assign it. And I'm going to... Now what's going to happen is if you go back to your dashboard, an easy way to do that is just by opening up a new tab and clicking the InsertLearning extension, where you might still already be there. What's going to happen is that you will now see this lesson. So it's going to be called, Hey Salad Lovers, It's Okay to Eat Romaine Lettuce Again. I'm going to reload my lesson so that things start syncing up for me automatically. I'm going to load this lesson now. You'll see it up here. When you see that, you can now click on that lesson, and that's going to take you to the one that we're working on right now. And you can now see my notes and my question, my discussion automatically pop up in there for you. Good. My internet's going a little bit slow here. So once you get here, what I'd like everybody to do is go. So I'm just going to say, like, my family had to throw. And we couldn't get a salad at a restaurant. I'm going to post my response to this discussion. So what's going to happen now is as people are going, as my students are getting to this lesson, you, my students, as you're getting to this lesson, you can start posting responses, and then they're going to pop up on here. But so as we're going along, I'm going to add in a couple of different things for you guys to kind of show you. And to highlight E. coli. Add a little note here. That's the name of the bacteria. I'm going to change the color to. I'm going to add in a question here. Summarize the above paragraph. And so that's my free response. And I'm going to add in one more thing here. What is the main, which is the best So what I'm going to do right now is I've got this free response question. I'm going to turn this into a multiple choice. So I just click right here. And then as a teacher, if I start typing in here and I hit enter, it turns into multiple choice. So it's bacteria, virus, a prion. Those are mad cow disease. I'm a science teacher. Right. And then I'm going to select correct one. Don't use this one for cheating, though. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to go back. And this is what's really exciting. So for you, you are now actually experiencing this as a student, as you're kind of going along. And on the teacher side, what I am now seeing is everybody's responses are starting to pop up here in real time. So now I can see what Sean and what Marcus have added in here. If I needed to, let's say like Marcus wrote something that wasn't appropriate, I could then mute that response and then hide it from everybody. But as a teacher, I still see it right there. But I like Marcus's response. Thank you, Marcus. So we've got some really neat discussions here. Sometimes I'll follow it up with like another question from the discussion of like pick out one of the discussion responses and respond to it here privately in the question. And we're going along and you're able to click on my highlights that I've added in. respond to the questions here as well as the multiple choice ones. But what I really like too is I saw this little icon pop up here, and this means that now one of my students have started highlighting or annotating on the page. So I can click on that, and now I can select the student, and I can now see what they've been highlighting. All right, so Casey doesn't have anything at the beginning here. Let's see what Lisa. Let's see here. What has somebody been highlighting on here? I'm not quite sure right now. Maybe they didn't highlight very much. That's okay. All right. Right. So as you guys are going along, though, I'm going to now also show you kind of like these free response ones. So you guys have kind of like, so free response ones. I can click on view all responses right here on the lesson page. And now I can see what they've been writing on there. So Sean and Lisa have already answered that one. I can go ahead and start entering in points. So this one I just left as a 10-point response, right? So I'm going to give everybody 10 points. Just hit tab and I move on to the next one. I'm going to close that. I can go down to my multiple choice one and click on view responses. Now, Sean, well done on this. You got it right away. Lisa, is it right here? It also collects, if you end up responding incorrectly the first time, it's going to then show you that it's incorrect, but you keep going until you get the correct response, and it's actually going to then record which ones you selected as you were going along too. So it's really kind of a nice thing as we're going through here. So last thing I'm going to do is for this one, I found a YouTube video, or I want to have something to write like, how does E. coli actually make us sick? Right, so how to avoid, let's see, well, I mean, for this topic right here, like, right, like what students wouldn't want to see that. But let's go with this one. It's a very short video. So what I want to do is I want to like break up this article because you guys might be starting to tune out. I've got questions, I've got, and here after that multiple choice, I'm going to add in a sticky note. And then here, and I can say like, right, watch this video. I'm going to paste in the URL. It's going to embed that YouTube video. And I'm going to follow this up with a question of, from the video, explain how E. coli makes us sick. Right, so now we've kind of broken this down. So as a student, now you can start kind of like adding some stuff in here. So I've got a couple of different things. I've got one other one that I'm going to create, and then I'm going to have you guys actually create something and then share it with me. So the last thing I'm going to do as a lesson is this one on open up resources. They've got this great free open sourced curriculum. They've got math and English. And so I've already selected a lesson here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load InsertLearning on here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add in instructions up at the top. But what's really nice is that it's already questions on here. So on here, I can now add in my instructions. And again, it's going to highlight yellow. That means I can attach something, right? So I'm going to say like answer all questions and use your tiles on your desk. Right here, they've got the question already of who do you agree with? Now, this one I'm going to make just simply a regular free response question. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm literally just going to copy that, paste it in right there, and then boom. So we've got this as we're going along, and I could even highlight certain things if I was right. Like, so I want to like highlight this, like right. So they've got that. Now they're going to be answering it right there. And same thing for each of these things. And you can make these multiple choice questions or discussions. Discussions will show up in real time for all the students. So sometimes they'll kind of give away the answer. But again, right, I could just copy this question right here. And now as students, you can see that one right there. Oh, but I didn't assign it, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to head down and assign that. And so now what's going to happen is, as a student, if you go back to your dashboard, you can now see this new lesson on there. And one way you can do this is, again, opening a new tab and click on the extension. Or if you click on more options right here, and then you can click on go to dashboard. So there's one last thing that I'm going to show you guys that's really neat. And that is for the ability for you to be able to create your own lessons as a student. So I'm going to, before I do that, I move on. I'm going to go ahead and pause that, and I'm going to jump back and see if anybody has any questions right now. And I see we do have a lot of questions, right? Yes. Oh, yeah, I didn't introduce myself. Yes. So, Sean, I am Matt. And then, all right, so I'm kind of looking through here a little bit. Could you please show how to respond to a discussion answer privately? Oh, and Casey, so thanks you guys. I apologize for the audio kind of dropping out. I will have to figure out something. Maybe it's my internet connection. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But keep posting those responses, or maybe I'll just have to redo this one separately, and then I can post it later. But I like being able to have that live feedback. So this last part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to switch back to, so I'm going to switch to being a student. So I'm going to head back. Where did I put that? Here we go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch to being a student. But for kind of like these like demos, kind of like this is sort of helpful. But you can, as a teacher, be in a class. So what's happened now is I've switched back to being a student. My lessons are going to still kind of show up as if like the lessons that I had, because you can't be a student in your own class. But what I'm going to do that's different this time is I'm going to head back here, and I'm going to pick a new article. So one of the things that's really exciting is letting students go out there and find things that are relevant and important to them. So let's go with world. And so really sort of like, right, like a big part of it is like, one, as teachers, we're creating stuff and we're sending things out to our students. We're saying, hey, these are things that are important. But our students also have a lot of opinions of like, right, of like what is important to them. So I'm going to go with this one here, right? So let's say as a student, right? So what we can do as a teacher is we can go out there and we can give students assignments of saying, all right, I want you guys to go out there and find an article that you think is important, and I want you to annotate it and then share it back to me, and then we can share that out to the entire class. And so now that I've switched to a student, I've got the limited toolbar over here, so I just have highlighter and sticky notes. What I'm going to do is we've got a template that I can show you guys later, but basically what I'm gonna do is I want my students to go out there and find articles and then annotate it, right? So it's like, I chose this because, and I'm gonna explain why I chose this one as a student. And then the student can go through, they can highlight things, they can add in images and videos and things. More options. They get this option of share with teachers. And so what they can do now is they can copy this link and then email that to you or turn it in through Google Classroom. And now that's going to let you as the teacher see what your students have annotated. And what you can then do is you can take a little bit further of, if you want to now share that out with the rest of the class, you can make a copy of that annotation and then assign that kind of to your entire class and then let other students kind of like go through that. And so it's a really neat way of letting students be able to find information and articles, current events that's important to them, and then share that out with the rest of the class so they can kind of like have a bit of a voice of what are they seeing and hearing in the world. All right, so I'm going to jump back here and see if we have any more questions here. Did you add the video with the URL? Yes. So Lisa, going back to that. So the way it works is for YouTube videos, all you need is the URL. So I'm going to pause that. All you need is the URL, and you just simply copy that, and then in a sticky note, so you add in your sticky note, and then you just paste the URL to the YouTube video. Now, for other tools like Flipgrid or Edpuzzle, or even like Twitter has its own embed codes, all you need is the embed code for it. And so, and even like Google Forms has an embed code, so you can just copy and paste any embed code and put it in here. You can also copy and paste images and put them in there as well. So let's see here, so say if I want to find like E. coli bacteria, do a quick Google image search. And again, this is what's really neat thing to think with students of. You can give students instructions of find one video and 2 images to supplement that article and make it more relevant for, to add to the article, to kind of like bring it more to life for their classmates. And so it's a really good chance for students to be able to kind of show off what they know and kind of what's important for them. All right, I'm just going to copy the image. And back over here, I can now hit enter and then just paste that image right there. And now I've got that in there. So anything with an embed code, and you can copy and paste the URLs for YouTube videos, and those embed automatically then, or then also the images. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here. All right, so people have questions right now. We'll keep going as long as people have questions. All right, so from Marcus, Matt, is it right that you can respond to discussions privately? I didn't see that. So no, oh, sorry, Marcus, I missed that. No, at this time, you can't respond to discussions privately with InsertLearning. One of the features we do have that we're going to be adding in the future is the ability to questions and possibly discussions, and possibly annotations too. First thing for really like giving like feedback, is going to be on the question or just regular questions, multiple choice and free response. But possibly in the discussions later on. We've got a couple of different things we want to do with discussions. So stay tuned for that. All right. And then Ken, all right, so join late. Yes, this will be available for later on. Yes, and thank you, Casey. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them in there. You can also just simply email us. I'm Matt at InsertLearning.com. You can also always check out our, should share that too, our help center, and then a really easy way to be able to get in touch with us at any point. So I'm going to share my screen again. My hair got crazy there. All right. When you're on the InsertLearning, it's going to load. So we got a couple of different ways you can email us, or you can click on this little message tool right here, and you can send us messages directly from here. So you can just click on new conversation, and then you basically start a conversation with myself or Ben. You can also search our help center. It's got some really great stuff in there. You can always get to the help center from here too. Adding things to the help center. So it's a really good place to be able to find things. Really sort of right, like I need to like workshop materials. Where can I find that? I mean, I click on search and it's going to take me right there, right? Workshop and training resource. Right? Whether it's you got a question on how to do something, or feedback, or suggestions, all that stuff, go ahead and throw it in there. Oh, I don't think I shared my my screen. So that didn't. Oh, I am sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah, so you can add those things in right there. Last thing, then, as I'm kind of waiting to see if anybody has any other questions, check out the public library. It's been out for about 2 months now. We've got a lesson challenge going on right now, of Earth Challenge. If you just simply type in like hashtag Earth Challenge, you're gonna see all the different ones that we've got right there. We just gave an update also so that you can actually now search for different things. Let's say if I want to see if I've got like a colleague that teaches science and they teach 9th grade science, boom, here are all the science lessons that have been tagged with 9th grade in science. And you can actually just copy this URL, send it to your colleague, and then they're going to see all the lessons for 9th grade science show up right there. But the Earth Challenge we've got going on is going to go until the end of June. And we've got some great prizes, including free subscriptions to InsertLearning, but also some really neat renewable energy classroom kits from our friends over at Recharge Labs and Kidwind. So definitely check out that. I sent out an email earlier. I'm going to send out lots of tweets about that stuff too. All right, so if nobody has any more questions, thank you very much for joining us, everybody, tonight. The webinar is going to be recorded here when I end the video chat. And I'll also email that out to everybody that got the initial links, as well as next week's newsletter. So thank you again for joining us, and I will see you guys next week. I don't think I've like selected the topic for next week. So if you've got any suggestions, things you want to see for next week's webinar, let me know. Because we got a couple of different things we'll be doing this summer. So thank you again, everybody. Have a great evening and a good end of the school year.